I will go on to my topic, which is about E3, whether it's dead and whether or not we think it's a good thing. So I'm going to give us a little bit of like a history of what's happened to E3 pre-pandemic and kind of the trend which a lot of the publishers have been taking. So I'll go through each one. So Sony decided to skip E3 in 2019 and they launched State of Play. We got our first State of Play in 2019. Microsoft started doing their own showcases during 2020, but it was still set during the E3 window, during that E3 week.
I'm pretty sure when it like they done one like across the road from E3 as well. Like they actually had their own hall just across the road.
Yeah, I think Microsoft actually owns the center, and they're like, why are we paying millions to be in across the road when we've got this bigger building where we've got ourselves? So I think they moved a few years ago with that, maybe 2017, I want to say. Nintendo started their directs back in 2017. Well, the first English one was in 2017. And they have multiple throughout the year, minis, Pokemon Pacific ones. And they didn't do one at all last year during the pandemic. We got our first one, which was last month, 17th of Feb, which was a little bit underwhelming. Bethesda have now been acquired by Microsoft, so they're likely not to do their own one anymore. Ubisoft launched Ubisoft Forward last year, and they did their first one in July, and then they followed up with a second one in September. Both were not that great. EA have their showcase called EA Play Live. The first EA Play Live was in 2017. And once again, even during the pandemic last year, they held it during E3 week, like Microsoft. And last but not least, Square this week have revealed that they're doing Square Enix Presents, which is going to be a new digital series where they announce games, share news, updates throughout the year. So clearly they're going to do a multiple thing throughout the year. I haven't mentioned WB because although they did one last year with DC Fandom, they don't really normally do their own one, and Rockstar always do their own thing, and Activision don't really do one. They always like with the big like Sony or Microsoft, and they have their Blizzard does their own thing as well. But given that pretty much every publisher's now got their own showcase and event, is that all but confirmed that E3 is the show itself is kind of dead? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's gone. Everyone's kind of just realised that they can do their own thing. Like you say, they've all some of them have been doing it since Nintendo 2017. So I think they've I think E3 as a thing is no more.
It was heading that way anyway, wasn't it? And it's the icing on the cake.
Yeah, the pandemic has just put the final nail in the coffin, really. So I don't think it will be coming back anymore. And which I kind of think is a bit of a shame for me, because I think it was like that time of year back where you knew that the week or however long it is on for, load of stuff was going to get announced hopefully, and then you can go like if you can check when you get up to see what was announced, and you see all these trailers and that. So it was good, like all this, all this stuff was going to come out, and it's contained contained a few days, but the
holiday season for gamers.
Yeah.
It was really good. I enjoyed it as well.
I was at work and just come out on my lunch break, because I used to work till 9. So my lunch break was at 5, and I went to get my car, and I just had text messages from everyone saying like Fallout 4 and E3 and links, and I looked at it, and they'd announced Fallout 4, and it was amazing. That was one of the best E3 moments for I've enjoyed.
Which was that 2016?
2015.
2015.
Yeah. So it was just that was pretty.
We worked together then, right?
We did, but we didn't. I don't think we didn't speak to each other back then.
Yeah, good old times. Good times.
That was before I was. I think I'd only been working there like a couple of months. So then you'd been maybe working there a month or something. So
sure.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And when the first time I saw him, I was like, briefcase wanker, I ain't talking to him.
Oh, that's what I thought when I first saw him.
Yeah. It's weird. He doesn't have a briefcase, but when you see him, you kind of feel you see him holding a briefcase, and you're like, what is this? Yeah, like some optical illusion. It's just so
for sure.
Yeah.
I secretly have one in my closet.
Yeah.
Do you think, given that recently, obviously, it's all subjective, and obviously, it's impossible to please everybody. But having loads of mini conferences throughout the year, and obviously the announcement of the news is spread out rather than have some big blowout in 1 week, is it going to create a lot more underwhelming conferences?
Yeah, I think it's going to give us more to talk about. But yeah, it's definitely going to be underwhelming. Like the one we just had with Sony. Yeah, very underwhelming.
Yeah.
The Nintendo Direct, again, underwhelming. So I think you have more news, but it's going to be less impactful. It's going to be a bit like, oh, okay, yeah, Splatoon. There's an update on Splatoon. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why I use Splatoon as an example, but yeah, just did.
Yeah, I'm not into like multiple franchises. Like I'm not as broad on the gaming spectrum as you guys, but E3 was something that I'd always look forward to, and always be like getting all that news in 1 week. I'd be, oh, look at that trailer, like, oh, this is happening. I'd get bought into the hype, and I just know I won't have that hype when there's segmented. So it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll just read about it on Twitter, and it's like, oh, all right, yeah, good. And there's something about that event, that E3 event, where there's like, it's going to be like hit after hit after hit. It's just associated with a lot of excitement, and just it's just for me it's massively it's a big shame.
I think that's that's going to be the biggest thing. It's the big news dump. Because again, like all the big publishers and developers, they would have saved all their juicy good golden nuggets for E3, because that's where you showcased everything.
Yeah.
Whereas now they'll be like, oh, we just do one here, we do one there, we can talk about so and so. So
yeah. Some of them seem to be doing it like half a year, and some do it quarterly. Like I think the Sony one that we just had, which obviously a lot of people found underwhelming, was just the first half of 2021. So I'm sure we'll get a second one in June, which will have Horizon, it'll have other games, and I'm sure it'll be a lot better, because their ones last year were very good. They were probably my favorite, and you might say I'm biased, but I like the PS5.
You definitely are biased sitting there wearing PlayStation t-shirts.
Yeah, I am. But the PS5 reveal show was great. Like when it opened with Rockstar logo, and I know it was a little bit underwhelming, it was online, but I thought,
new game. It's GTA.
Oh my God, they're doing GTA 6. This is mental. And then it wasn't.
Or even DLC. Could have been DLC. Could have been GTA 5 DLC. No, it was just GTA Online. Guess what? You can pay to play GTA Online on another console. Oh, thanks.
Again.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. Yeah, I'll do that, right? And then, and guess what? I will download it and play it on the PS5, because I'm an idiot. So
well, PS Plus, you can play it, download it for free.
Yeah.
But when they went
the game, but Ashley's had it for about 4 years now, and I don't think I've ever seen it again. So
no, you're not. It's his game now.
It's his game now.
I feel like there's a time period where it's like it's no longer your game. It's the other person.
I still have your Uncharted 4, so that's my game now.
Yeah, it is your game. I don't have a disc drive, so I couldn't even play it. And it's on the collections, I want to say.
Yeah. So
it's cool. You can keep it. It's your game.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.
But that conference I went back up again because of the Spider-Man drop. I wasn't expecting Miles, and I saw the black suit, and I thought, oh my God. And then obviously to end it, we saw a bit of Horizon and that thing, and then ending it with the God of War reveal was like.
So that was a good one. That was
come on, it's a great conference.
The God of War lie. 2020. But
it's not yet. It's not yet, Brad. It's not been delayed yet.
Yeah,
we're getting it this year so far. You can quote. You can snip. We can make that a little snip. We're getting it this year. But how do publishers set the right expectations? What's the right thing to do? Because it's kind of like Square Enix, who are doing their conference, I believe next week, I want to say. They've basically just revealed everything they're going to show. They said it's going to be approximately 40 minutes. They're showing Life is Strange, Outriders, Tomb Raider 25th anniversary, Marvel Avengers, Just Called Mobile, and other announcements. They've set expectations.
Yeah.
Anybody goes into that, I think they're going to see Final Fantasy. Although I've seen some journalists put Final Fantasy pictures and stuff, which is a little bit misleading for people.
Who's this one? Is this Square? Sorry.
Square, yeah. Square. Like, they've literally said what they're showing. So they've set expectations. You're not going to see anything to do with Final Fantasy. So don't expect it.
Yeah. So,
is that the right thing to do? Just to say what you're going to be there?
for me, I know we do a gaming podcast and I should watch it, but I'm not going to watch that because I don't really care about anything they're talking about. So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm out. So
could they not still do a tease though? You say they're not going to talk about Final Fantasy. Could they not just?
They could still,
like with God of War, where they just did that. Like on the last Sony thing you were talking about, they just dropped a logo at the end. Like they could.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Doesn't mean
they could always have something in the bag for like the like the sucker punch, couldn't they? Like to do it, but
probably won't. But
no, probably won't. No. So I think maybe they're doing it now that they're releasing what they're going to talk about because I know people's expectations just get so high, and they're like, oh, they're definitely you're going to talk about this, and they're just tempering them. They're just kind of like, can't call you jets. This is what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, maybe that is the right thing to do, but then does it take the excitement away? Like you're like, oh, are we going to see this? Are we going to see that? And it's kind of a part of it, isn't it? Although you're then, I didn't see what I wanted to see, but I don't know. It's like. I don't know. I always get hyped. I'm so stupid. I just like every time there's going to be like a big conference, I'm like up to 10. Like can't wait to see this.
The Sony one, you was messaging going, Metal Gear remake is getting announced, Horizon, and it was like a 20-minute trailer of Deathloop, which we've seen so many times before, and then just like some Final Fantasy thing, and that was it, really, wasn't it? Just kind of.
Yeah. No, it was a little bit underwhelming for our tastes anyway, but I think the rumors are so strong with all those things, so I think they will eventually get revealed. Maybe
that's another thing as well, like something that we're not interested in and we're not bothered about. That's something that someone else is tuning in for. That's what they want. So
that's what I mean. You can't please everybody. It's impossible
to please everyone. Yeah. So it's just
like. They could have showed Horizon at the end and gave us a full gameplay thing, and I would have absolutely loved it. It probably would have made the conference for me, and maybe even Brad Moore. But Final Fantasy fans would have been like, "Oh, I would have much preferred what they actually showed." So, do you know what I mean? It's like you said, you can't please everybody. Like, I'll watch the Square thing purely for the Avengers. Are they going to show anything new? Probably not. Are they going to disappoint me?
They're probably going to be like, we're ending it. We're just,
The funny thing is, this is taking place next week because it's taking place on the day Hawkeye gets released. I think at the exact same time. So their new DLC comes out, and then we're just going to do a conference at the same time as this. It's like, well, that's smart.
Be an advert for the DLC, isn't it?
Probably, that's always going to be. Is go play Hawkeye right now, rather than something new like, Spider-Man's next.
Yeah, we're doing this. This is our roadmap. Please keep playing the game because there is more content coming. I don't know. Yeah, it's a shame about E3, but like Brad said, it was on the decline anyway, and that the pandemic has just killed it. And when you think it just used to be journalists, like it was just journalists, and then they started opening it up to the public. And it was just getting less and less big names would go in there, and then now, obviously, last year and this year,
I would love to have gone. It's such a shame. Like it's probably like you said, it's dead now, so we're never going to get it. But that live audience experience made it sometimes as well, like hearing the cheers. Like I remember once again, obviously biased Sony, but my favorite ever conference was the 2017 Sony one, where they opened it with God of War and that live orchestra, and obviously the reveal of even going, boy, it was just hitting the roar of the crowd. It was incredible. And that conference, I don't think you could hit a peak. I think that was like the peak because you had Spider-Man was revealed in that. It ended it with Last of Us, with Eddie playing the guitar with Joel in the doorway, and it showed Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Crash was shown then. It was like, wow, like it was like bang, bang, bang. It was, it kind of
can't have been announced since 2017, can it? Because it came out in 2008.
We forgot our first gameplay.
Oh, okay. Sorry to pick you up on that. Sorry to.
Yeah, we got our first piece of gameplay.
A bit of a knob.
No, sorry.
The E3. Rest in peace. Rip.
Rip. Good. E3. It's good while it lasted.
Yeah. Well, it has officially already been cancelled for this year. The LA government council, whatever they call it in America. Yeah, they basically said they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to.
Is there a chance it will carry on, but will just be shit? I guess that's probably the most likely scenario, isn't it? There will be one when the pandemic's over, but it will just it will have lost all of its. It just would have lost all its charm, lost all of its exclusivity. It would have just be like another a cash grab for.
I think it'll probably turn into like a PAX or a bit like what we have here. What was that thing we went to, Brad?
Eurogamer Expo.
Yeah. It's like something like that where people just go and play the game, play demos. Developers will be there.
That got a lot worse when it was in Earls Court and it was in the smaller area, like a smaller hall. Brilliant. I went there the year Fallout New Vegas was coming out, and like they had an 18 section, and all these games. The queues weren't big. Go in and play whatever you want. By the time we went years later, when we went to the one in Birmingham, it was just like, what do we play? We only played for a handful of games because we was just queuing up for hours. And
he queued for like nearly 2 hours for Battlefront, and Star Wars Battlefront 2.
It was just, and in the end, it was like kind of like more stalls and more like PC building stalls than actual games and all that. But yeah, so that got a bit worse. But I'd go back to one, especially obviously it ain't been one for a while now because of again the pandemic. So
I think 2019 was actually back in. I think they moved it back to London. It was in the XL. So
for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously not for you, but
but yeah, great stuff. Yeah. Okay, moving on to Bradley's Sealy